Hi, my name is Jessica Melcher, and I am part of customer service at Commtech USA. Before coming to Commtech, I was a mom pretty much 24/7, and I'm still a mom 24/7, but I was looking for a job to bring in some more income to help the family, and I happened across Commtech, and it seemed like a good fit, so here I am. I started school when I was 2 years old at the West Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind, and I kind of moved around quite a bit, going from there to a public school in North Carolina, and then actually back to the West Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind. And then I moved back to North Carolina and went to the Governor Moorhead School for the Blind. And then we moved to Missouri, and I attended public school for a while, and then I went to the Missouri School for the Blind. And then we moved back east, and I attended public school in Virginia for a little while, but it wasn't very accessible, and back then they didn't have as much technology as they have now. So I finished my education at the Hadley School for the Blind. The first device I remember using in school is I started out with a Braille and Speak Classic, and they started introducing those to us when I was in, I want to say, first grade, probably, but it was very, very limited use, and they had computers with speech, but students were not allowed to use them. They were only for the blind teachers. And then when I got into third grade, they actually got a Braille and Speak for my use, and they got a computer with JAWS, and I had one at school, and then the Lions Club actually helped me obtain one, and I had one at home, and so I started learning at 8 years old how to use JAWS and Windows and all of that. And from then on, I was using computers. I think I got my first laptop in like 2004 or so, and I was hooked from then on. When I first started out with JAWS, all it really did, because I didn't know anything about computers at all, was it basically would echo back to me what I was typing, because I was just learning to type. I didn't even know how to type. And so I would type A and it would say A, and I would type B and it would say B, and so I learned to type. And then, I started getting more into actually doing assignments on the computer, so it would read back everything I had done, or I would do simple web searches. I can remember as a kid, I could still see a little bit. I couldn't read or anything, but I could see colors and stuff, and so I would type into the AOL keyword box like Furby, and JAWS would speak all of that, and then all these little pictures of Furbies would pop up, and I could see the colors. I couldn't really tell you that they were Furbies, but I could see all the funky colors and stuff, and JAWS can't read color, of course, but it was just something I did, and eventually, things became more and more, and by 2006, I was playing games on the computer and all that type of stuff. Well, now it's, way more. There's JAWS, there's NVDA, iPhones with VoiceOver, Android devices with TalkBack. I've used Macs, I've used Linux a little bit with Orca. Everybody has their own way of doing things. For people, especially blind people, who just attend one school, all they have is that one set of teachers, and so they learn things one way, and then they're stuck doing it that way, like forever. They don't really want to change. But I learned how to do things multiple different ways, and was then able to choose which way worked best for me, instead of being told, oh, you have to use, an NFB white cane, that's your only choice. Well, I choose to use a guide dog instead, so, but if I had went to, say, an NFB center, they may not have supported that decision. Some schools only want their users to use JAWS. If I had been in a school like that, then I would have, and I did for a long time. All I would use is JAWS. Like everybody else was using NVDA, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it because, and I had whatever reasons I don't even remember now. The biggest things that I think that have helped me further my goals and achievements, I think would be my iPhone with VoiceOver and my computer with NVDA, because without those two devices, I wouldn't have found Commtech. I wouldn't have been able to communicate with Gabe and Rory and all the other people at Commtech to be able to, do my job. I would have been pretty much screwed. I wouldn't have had anything to work with. I would have had a landline phone, but if I didn't know anything about the company, why would I have called them up or. I think we're at a great place right now, and a lot of new stuff is coming out, especially with haptic feedback, and they're making touch screens better and better. They're making the screen readers better and better. So I actually think we're at a really good place. I wish in some senses that I had been born 10 or 20 years later than I was, because right now, blind kids going to school, they've got it so easy. They have an iPad and a laptop, and it's simple. We had to struggle with Braille writers and Braille paper, and then we had the Braille and Speaks, but even that, you had to plug it into a printer to print out your work or whatever, because it's not like it had Bluetooth. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes you'd print something out and the teacher's like, I can't read this, it looks like gibberish. And so then you had to figure out why. You don't have those issues now. The kid can do their work and either email it to the teacher, or they can hook up to the school's printer network and fire it off to a printer. It's no big deal. At Commtech, I want to help people. That's partially why I'm in customer service. So I want to help people to, if you call and you ask me a question, I either need to know the answer or I need to find you the answer. That's my job. It's all a learning process, and that's what I'm after, is to learn more and more, so that when you, the customer, call in and say, hey, I need to be able to do this, my answer to you is yes, we can, and get you hooked up as quickly and efficiently as possible.